Hello YouTube, my name is Joseph, welcome back, and thank you so much for tuning into the POPSICLE KNIGHT channel. Please don't forget to click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and feel free to share this content. In today's video, we're back to combining cards from the newly released Champion's Path with Darkness Ablaze, since we still have a lot more cards to explore in that set. And so today I'll be showcasing the Gothitelle line from Darkness Ablaze. Gothitelle is a stage 2 with 140 HP with a weakness to dark. It has two attacks that really work well together. The first one is Mind Bend. For 1 energy, it will do 40 base damage and it will confuse your opponent's active. Since Gothitelle has a really low HP, we'll be taking advantage of this attack to confuse stronger opponents, which will slow them down just a bit to increase our survivability. Our opponent's active will have a 50% chance of making a successful attack. The second attack is Bend. For 2 energy, you'll be doing 90 base damage, and its effect is very unique. 2 random cards will be chosen from our opponent's hand, they reveal it, and that gets shuffled back into their deck. So the whole strategy for this deck will be to continue to completely prevent our opponent from having any cards in their hand. They will be relying on their top deck on their turn. With this strategy, our opponent will get locked out from making any plays, such as attaching energies, using items or support cards, or even evolving their Pokemon, because we'll be taking those away and having them shuffle those back into their deck. What makes this really effective is that it is random. Neither player has any control as to which card will be shuffled into the deck. And so our opponent will basically be sitting ducks while Gothitelle continues to do 90 damage on our opponent's active. This second attack works well with the first one in that while your opponent's active is confused, Gothitelle has a 50% chance of surviving the next few turns, and then will continue to attack with Bend, slowly removing our opponent's cards from their hand. Gothitelle's pre-evolutions are actually also pretty good. For example, Gothita has the attack Fortunate Eye, which allows you to look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck and put them back in any order. So even at the very start of the match, while we work on evolving this one into Gothitelle, you can already control what cards your opponent will get. This will prevent them from getting from their top deck Professor's Research, for example, or Marnie, or perhaps the energy they need to start attacking. Next is the stage 1 Gothorita, which has an attack Whiny Voice. For 1 energy, you can choose a random card from your opponent's hand. They show that, and that gets shuffled back into their deck. So it's not as powerful as Gothitelle's Bend, but it is a start to the overall outworking of the strategy for this deck. The 1 random card that gets shuffled into your opponent's deck could just be the one crucial part of their strategy. Going back to Gothitelle, while it is a stage 2, I do appreciate the balanced design for this card because it only requires 1 to 2 energy to start attacking. However, with the release of Champion's Path, our strategy for Gothitelle is made even better with the help of Wicked Ruler Galarian Obstagoon. With its ability, once during your turn, you may have your opponent discard cards from their hand until they have 4 cards left in their hand. This is a really good card to pair with Gothitelle because once our opponent sees that Gothitelle will take away 2 cards from their hand every time it attacks, they will anticipate this and respond by putting as much cards on their hand as possible so that they can proceed with setting up their Pokemon and start attacking. However, the more cards our opponent gets, the more cards we will be able to discard using Obstagoon's ability. In this way, our opponent will never have more than 4 cards in their hand. And to top it off, we will continue to decrease that with Gothitelle's attack until our opponent relies solely on their top deck. Also, with Obstagoon's attack for 3 colorless, we can be dealing 180 damage to our opponent. And this one can be very handy at times to make that final blow to stronger opponents. And again, I'm using the Sword and Shield pre-evolutions for this Obstagoon. That is the Headbutt Tantrum Zigzagoon and the Night Slash Linoone. So we have a 3-2-3 line for Gothitelle and a 2-2-2 line for Wicked Ruler Obstagoon as our main attackers. I also added in one Crobat for its Dark Acid ability for consistency, and one Mew to prevent bench damage, and it's also good for sniping, dealing 3 damage counters to our opponent in any way we like. As for the items, we have 3 Evolution Incense, 3 Quick Balls, 3 Rare Candies, 2 Scoop Up Net, 3 Switch, and 2 Yell Horns. Yet again, you must know by now that this has become a staple for my lower end decks because it really helps out in dealing with top tier decks. As for support, we have 2 Marnies, 2 Pokemon Breeders Nurturing to help with evolutions, 2 Professors Research, 2 Skylas, and 2 Sonias. As for the tool cards, we have 2 Billowing Smoke. This is the first time I've actually appreciated this card because it really works well with this deck. It reads, if the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, that player discards any prize cards they would take for that knockout instead of putting those cards into their deck. So even if our opponent knocks out our Pokemon, they will not be able to add any cards to their hand. It goes straight to the discard pile. So by attaching this to our Gothitelle or Obstagoon, we will be able to continue to maintain our strategy. Next, we have 2 U-turn boards, just in case we need to switch out any of our Pokemon without discarding too many energies. And as for the energies, we have 4 Horror Energies, which will help out by damaging any of our opponent's attacking Pokemon. 2 Twin Energies, mainly for Obstagoon, just in case. And 8 Psi Energies. Alright, so this is a fairly simple deck, but I'm pretty sure you will enjoy watching what this deck can do. But enough talk, let's see how this deck works with some gameplay. Alright, we're gonna choose heads. We win the coin flip. We're gonna go first. Alright, seems like our opponent and we are going to mulligan. Okay, seems like we're gonna have to mulligan again. So we're up against the fire deck. Alright, so we got a Gothita and a Mew. Gothita can go in the active and Mew in the bench. Gothita only has 60 HP, so having Mew in the bench helps us to have another turn because it is a fire deck. They are going second, so they could easily knock out our Gothita. So meanwhile, we're just gonna attach 1 energy and end our turn. There's really not much we can do at this point. So our opponent can definitely welder this one and just knock out our Pokemon. So we just gotta watch out for that one. Okay, so they use Cynthia and Caitlyn. So they're not gonna be able to welder at this and their turn, which is good for us. That gives us a few more turns. They put a Volcanion and another Reshiram tag team on their bench. There's not much we could do right now. We could just Marnie and see what other cards we can get out of this one. Okay, we got another Marnie, so it's not... I mean, we have a Quick Ball, so we could definitely use that. Can get rid of this U-turn board, and we're gonna get the Galarian Zigzagoon. Yes, gonna put damage on the active. Just use the Scoop Up Net to do that again. So we're just gonna slowly chip away at this active, and we're gonna put an energy, and we're gonna do Fortunate Eye, and we're gonna of course rearrange our opponent's top 5 decks or top 5 cards in their decks. So I think Vitality Band will keep us safe for now. Quick Ball, Malo and Lana, Pokemon Catcher, and Great Potion. I think that's good. So that will prevent them from attacking or switching out. So okay, we'll do it like that. And I've noticed that there's this glitch in PTCGO right now with Gothita that if you use Fortunate Eye, you can actually choose between your opponent or your own deck to rearrange what order you're gonna get the cards. And so I'm trying not to cheat the system. I know I could do that, but every time I get that message, I usually just go for my opponents, just as it says in Gothita's card. So it's very interesting to be able to capture that on video, this glitch with Gothita. But anyways, just a little side note. At the time of the recording of this one, that's what I found out. So our opponent doesn't have anything else in their hand, and that's what's really good about Gothita's attack, is because it messes up our opponent from building up their hand the way they like it. So I think it's really odd though. Why can't I use Marnie? I haven't used any support card yet. I think it's because our opponent doesn't have any cards on their hand, so we can't use Marnie unless our opponent has anything to shuffle. Yeah, so I guess the requirement is that our opponent has to have something to shuffle on their hand as well. So we're just gonna use Fortunate Eye here with Gothita, and again we're gonna prevent our opponent from building up their hand. So we're gonna just put their Professor's Research all the way to the bottom of that 5 top cards. They don't have any energies like what we checked in the discard pile, so they're not going to be able to use that Fire Crystal anyway, so that's good for us. We might just have to use Marnie because we're not going to get anywhere. It's good we got Rare Candy, really nice. We can evolve into Gothitelle finally. We're just gonna attach this U-turn board so we can retreat when we want, and we'll just mind bend this Reshiram. That way it will give our opponent only 50% chance of successfully attacking our Gothitelle, because right now Gothitelle can get knocked out by this Reshiram tag team with just 1 hit. So we gotta really protect ourselves. So confusing our opponent will help with that. And now we will on our next few turns we can just use the bend attack and get rid of those get rid of our opponent's hand slowly. Alright, so they're gonna heal up their active, and then they have a Professor's Research. That's the one that we put on the bottom, but sometimes you gotta take that chance because we need to get going. We need to get our setup going. So alright, cool. So with the confusion, they weren't able to attack successfully. We're just gonna attach 1 energy and use Pokemon Breeder's Nurturing to evolve our Zigzagoon into Linoone. So we're gonna use Bend. It will deal 90 damage, and that will shuffle 2 of their cards into our opponent's deck. So again, it's random, so we just never know. Having that Malo Lana shuffled back actually helps us because, well, they had another one, so it doesn't really matter. But at least they're gonna have a hard time switching out this Volcanion because it requires 2 retreat. It has 2 retreat costs, so it gives us another few turns to continue attacking with Gothitelle. So again, this bend attack will mess up our opponent. Alright, so there's that fire energy. We put that back into their deck. Now our opponent will be relying on their top deck. So they have energy, but they can't switch out this Volcanion. Okay, we get a Yell Horn. 1 more attack from Gothitelle will knock out this Volcanion, and I don't want that. So we're just gonna use Psi Power and chip away at this Reshiram in the bench. because if we knock out this Volcanion, they can just put their Reshiram into the active, knocking out our Gothitelle, and we are actually short on cards in our hands, so we just gotta watch out for that. They are gonna use Palpad to put Professor's Research and Cynthia and Caitlin into their deck. I'm just gonna continue to use Mew to chip away at this Reshiram tag team in their bench, and that's actually gonna pressure them because they wanna switch out this Volcanion right away. So once they do that, we can use Yell Horn to confuse. Oh, it's good we get Evolution Incense. We can definitely use that to evolve into our Wicked Ruler Obstagoon. And we're just going to continue with Psi Power. And maybe we can knock out this Volcanion, force them into the active, and then we can use Yell Horn. Yeah. So I think that's the best option. We'll sacrifice Mew, and we can use Yell Horn to confuse. They don't have any cards on their hand right now, so even if they attack, we can confuse their active and continue to use the bend attack, removing more cards from their hand. So they have Green's Exploration, so they can get 2 trainer cards with that. Let's just see what they get out of this one. Okay, Professor's Research and Fire Crystal, but now they can't use any support card during this turn because they've already used Green's Exploration. So we can exploit again the bend attack using Gothitelle, so that we can remove that card from their hand, hopefully. So okay, let's put that Gothita in the bench, and we're just gonna Mind Bend, knocking out this Reshiram, and we get 3 prizes for that. So that's good. It was enough damage to knock that one out, and we were able to take away the important cards from our opponent's hand, except for Professor's Research, of course. Our opponent gets to use Professor's Research. They have more in their hand, but we have Obstagoon to get rid of all those cards. Oh, they switch into Volcanion. That's very interesting. They have a Welder, but they can't use it during this turn. Okay, Tag Call. Malo and Lana, Cynthia and Caitlin. Okay. Alright, cool. So, I don't know why they switched out, but okay, that's fine. Whatever. So we'll evolve into, and then we're gonna use Wicked Ruler for the meantime. So we're just gonna wait for our opponent to choose which cards he wants to discard, because they have too much cards in their hand, and Wicked Ruler only allows them to have 4. Okay, so we can use Crobat. We can get 2 cards out of this one. We got a Quick Ball. So I think we're just gonna bend, do 90 damage on this Volcanion. Okay, that removes Welder and a Fire Energy. So their Volcanion is locked out again in their active unless they have a switch. They put another energy on their Reshiram in the bench, and for the meanwhile we're gonna evolve another Gothitelle on our bench. We're gonna even start attacking with that one, but for now we're just knocking this one out, removing the rest of their cards, shuffling it back into their hand, giving us 1 more prize card. So we only need 1 more prize card to win. Even if they knock out this Gothitelle in our active, we have another reserve Gothitelle on our bench. Okay, we get our U-turn board back into our hand. So Gothitelle goes into the active. Let's put another energy. We'll confuse both using Yell Horn. We'll switch out Obstagoon. Since it's confused, we can actually attack. But let's use this quick ball for now. Get another Gothita. Put it in the bench just in case, so that we have this lineup ready. We'll put U-turn board and knuckle impact this Reshiram. 180 damage. So with just a few more hits, this game is basically ours. Alright, they're gonna Green's Exploration to get 2 trainer cards. And that's what's nice about this Wicked Ruler Obstagoon, you know? It messes up our opponent's hand and it does a lot of damage. Alright, they're gonna switch out. What's the best option? Okay, so we'll just evolve into Gothorita. Let's retreat this Obstagoon, and we'll just attach a twin. No, yeah, we can attach twin energy, but for now, let's see what's the best option here. Let's Mind Bend, just in case they get any fire on this, on their active. We don't want that attacking. Alright, so they get another Professor's Research. They have a switch, so they will be able to knock out this Gothitelle. Alright, cool. So they got a Tails with that one. They don't really need that much energy on that, because they can just knock out this Gothitelle anyways. They have 6 energies in that Reshiram. But I think yeah, I mean they're still down for prize cards. They still have 4 prize cards, I mean. Okay, so they knock out our Gothitelle. We're gonna put our Galarian Obstagoon, put the twin energy, and just knock this one out. But let's just do Professor's Research for the meantime. We'll attach that there, and then get the last Gothitelle on our deck to evolve Gothorita. Use the quick ball to get another Zigzagoon. Put a damage on the back there, and we're gonna use Wicked Ruler. But definitely we got this game. We just need to attack our opponent's Reshiram, and that will win us the game. And Knuckle Impact. So good game. Alright, we're gonna choose heads. And yeah, we're gonna go first. We're up against Dark deck here. Our Gothitelle is definitely weak against Dark type, so we gotta watch out for that. We'll put Mew in the active. That's the only basic we got so far. Okay, they have a Meowth in the active right now. They have a tag team in the bench. Let's just use a quick ball, get a Gothita, put that in the bench, get it going, put an energy, and we'll end our turn for now. We can get a Gothorita in our next turn using the Evolution Incense if we don't have any rare candies. At least that will set it up. I mean, we have Gothitelle already on our hand, so that's we have the full lineup basically on our hand. So we can start removing those cards from our opponent's hand. Alright, they have a Zigzagoon. An Eternatus, okay. Are we up against an Eternatus deck? But that's really odd. They have a Meowth. Usually, Eternatus decks consist only of dark type. But that's interesting. They have a Meowth. Okay, they're gonna use Evolution Incense to get a Linoone. And they will end their turn. Okay. Well, let's use our Evo Incense to get a Gothorita. Let's evolve our Gothita, put another energy, and we'll switch into the active and actually use Whiny Voice. Get rid of that one card. So now they're down to 1, well now 2 with the top deck. So at least that limits our opponent's options, I guess. Alright, they evolve into Linoone and they have a Crushing Hammer. And then they fail. So now our opponent doesn't have any cards on their hand. Let's evolve this into Gothitelle. We'll use Sonia. Let's get a Zigzagoon and a Crobat. Zigzagoon goes in the bench. Yes, let's add 1 damage to that. Eternatus, use Crobat so we can get 5 cards. We have a Quick Ball, which is really good. Let's add an energy on Zigzagoon. So once it, because we need 3 energies basically. Let's use the Quick Ball to get another Gothita. So we have a full lineup. Since we are all weak against Dark, we need to have a lot of lineup. So we'll use Bend and just knock out this Meowth. They had an earring bell, so it does confuse our Gothitelle. As for the prize card, we get another Gothitelle, which is really good because we have a rare candy already that will really help us out to evolve another Gothitelle. Okay, so Eternatus is only able to deal 60 damage. I mean, 60 is pretty big chunk. Because again, our Gothitelle is weak against Dark. So we're gonna use Mind Bend. We switched out the one in the bench into the active and just confuse this Eternatus. At least it won't be able to attack for the meantime while it's looking for, I guess, an evolution for VMAX. Okay, so it was able to successfully attack. We're just gonna use Marnie here. We get a Yell Horn, which is good. Quick Ball and another Horror Energy. Let's just put another energy on this Gothitelle. So even if they do attack us, it will damage their Eternatus V. But for now, let's use Quick Ball and Zigzagoon. No, Zigzagoon is good. Zigzagoon is good. So we can do chip damage on this Eternatus and just use Bend. Alright, that will get rid of 1 energy and our candy. And we just need to put a few more damage on this Eternatus V so we can knock it out. Alright, they will use boost tactics, so they're gonna get a lot more card at the end of their turn. They do retreat their Eternatus V, but at least that takes away their energy. The Linoone attacks for 40 and switches out into this tag team. Wow, so now they have 8 cards on their hand. Oh man, I wish we had a rare candy. We still have we still have 2, and I think it's safe to just discard this Obstagoon for the meantime. We still have 1 more anyways. So let's put that Billowing Smoke on Gothitelle and add another energy on Zigzagoon. And I think we're just gonna use Bend. Okay, our opponent is resistant. Yeah. I mean, we had the rare candy now. Oh, well, we can use Skyla actually in our next turn to get a Evo Incense, to get a Wicked Ruler Obstagoon, to evolve our Zigzagoon and start discarding our opponent's hand. But for right now, they have 4. Okay. That's an interesting choice. I don't know why they... Okay, so we don't have to use Skyla. We'll just use this Evo Incense. Oh no! We don't have another Obstagoon. One of them is prized. Yeah, well, we'll scoop up net this Zigzagoon out of the active, and let's just use Sonia. This is the last basic Pokemon we have, and we're just gonna keep putting the Gothitelle lineup, and we're gonna attack with Bend. Alright, that removes their Weavile and an energy. Okay, so with Gothita, we can actually use our rare candy to get another Gothitelle up and running, which is good for us. Okay, good. And we're just gonna Bend. Keep attacking this tag team, Sableye and Tyranitar tag team. Yeah, having their top deck is not helping our opponent out, so let's use Skyla, see what we get. I think, yeah, let's get Yell Horn just in case. We're just gonna knock out this tag team with Gothitelle because our opponent cannot put any energies at all because they don't have any cards on their hand. And it's nice, on our prize card we can finally get our Obstagoon, but right now we don't really care because our opponent doesn't have anything on their hand, so they're trapped. They're sitting ducks. However, with Eternatus V, with one energy, it's still able to knock out our Gothitelle. But our Gothitelle can just knock out this Eternatus V, and we can win this game, actually. It has enough damage for our Gothitelle to finish it off, and we could just actually use Zigzagoon to knock it out. So that's game. That's game. So Gothitelle, man. One of the best disrupts, I think. Disrupt deck in the game. Alright, let's go first. Alright, Gothita goes into the active. We'll end our turn. We don't want to put Zigzagoon yet. We want that headbutt tantrum to take effect once we put it in the bench. So we'll just save it. Alright, we got a Cursola and a Butterfree V. So let's just put Zigzagoon and attack, or put damage on this Butterfree V. I don't want to use Crobat just yet. We'll just end our turn. Let's thin out our hand in the next few turns for now, before we use Crobat. So they attach an energy on Butterfree V, but it's not grass, so they won't be able to attack. However, with Koga's Trap, our Gothita is confused and poisoned. So Cursola V from Champion's Path is pretty annoying if you're facing off against it, because it adds 3 damage counters each time you attach energy on your Pokemon. So this is gonna be a tough one. So we're gonna use Zigzagoon to put damage counter on this Cursola. So there's 30 damage to our Gothita. We're gonna use Crobat, and we're just gonna evolve this to remove our confusion and poison. So we got our Gothorita ready. Unfortunately, we won't be able to attack Cursola V that much just yet, and I'm just gonna put this Mew on the bench. Yeah, so it doesn't have any energy, so it can't attack yet. So I'm just gonna use Whiny Voice. Okay, so they are going full on with the Arctozolt Cursola V combo here. So as we continue to attach energy on our Pokemon, we are just gonna die slowly. But you know, our opponent doesn't have any cards on their hand just yet, so we can take that to our advantage. And meanwhile, we're gonna use Pokemon Breeders Nurturing to evolve into Gothitelle, and now also Wicked Ruler Obstagoon. So while this Cursola V cannot attack, I'm just gonna keep attacking it with Gothitelle's Bend until we knock it out, hopefully in this next turn. Yeah, So let's use Pokemon Breeders Nurturing to evolve into Linoone and Gothorita. So we have these two ready on our bench. But yeah, let's just knock this Cursola V out. That will lessen the damage we get when we attach energy on our Pokemon. Alright, cool. So we got a Yell Horn. Well, so our opponent can't attack just yet. They don't have any energies on their hand. We'll evolve into Gothitelle. And let's use Skyla to get an Evolution Incense to complete another Obstagoon. Yep, so we'll have two of them ready just in case. Not that we need it, but it's okay. We'll attach one energy there and we'll just bend and attack, damage this Cramorant V for 90. Alright, so I think we're doing good. Our opponent's top deck is not doing too good for them. They're not getting what they need. Oh, okay. I mean, they got that one. They get Erica's Hospitality, so they get a lot more cards. But the question is, will they get any energies, which they really need? So I guess the whole purpose of this is energy denial, and then Cursola and Arctozold will continue to damage. Alright, they put an Earring Bell on Cramorant V, so if we do attack it, it will confuse us, but it's alright. We got switches, but we don't have any energies on our other Pokemon, which makes it very difficult for us. So I think using Marnie would be the best option for now. We got more energies, which is good. We have Twin Energy we can attach here, and we can actually just retreat this Gothitelle. Should we? Or we can attack. Yeah, let's just attack. I mean, it'll get us confused, but that's fine. We can use Skyla to switch it out in the next turn, maybe. 180. So we just need 20 more damage to it. They put an energy on Cramorant V, and they get another rare fossil. And then they're just gonna use Beak Catch. See what card they get from their hand or from their deck. That's good. Maintaining, as long as we maintain our opponent's hand to 0, if at all possible. We'll get a switch using Skyla, and we can actually just use Mew. That way, Mew is not gonna get confused. We'll just use Psy Power and knock out this Cramorant V. Just 2, and then maybe add 1 on the Butterfree, because hey, that's the biggest threat right now. But that's okay. We get 2 prize cards for that. We get Billowing Smoke and Evolution Incense. So this Butterfree has 190 HP. They are able to set up another Arctozold. So every time we attach an energy, it's gonna damage our Pokemon 40. They are gonna Marnie. We have Yell Horn. Okay, we could definitely use that and just retreat with Mew, and then start attacking with Gothitelle, I think, or Obstagoon. If we had a Zigzagoon, we can actually knock out this Butterfree with 1 hit, but we don't have that. That's okay. So what we're gonna do is switch this Gothitelle, and we're just gonna confuse this Butterfree V, because it's the only attacker that our opponent has right now. I think that's the best option, and I don't want to use Yell Horn because I don't want to confuse Gothitelle just for this one. So our opponent's gonna use Pokemon Breeders Nurturing. Let's see what they get. Alright, so they got a 3 line of Arctozold in their bench, so that's gonna do 60 damage when we attach an energy. So good. Our opponent's Butterfree was confused and it hit itself. And we're just gonna continue to use Bend. And that's it, I think. One more hit and we win this game. Or they can just knock themselves out. Alright, that's game. So that's Gothitelle, Obstagoon line. Gothitelle's not bad at all. Not bad. And that's a look at the Darkness Ablaze Gothitelle, paired with the new Champion's Path Obstagoon. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to press the like button. What did you think of this idea? Please let me know in your comments below. Also consider subscribing if you haven't already for more contents like these. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care of yourselves and have a great day.